The Pentagon war planners have rightfully said that 90% of modern warfare is informational. That's why it's more important than ever that all of you watching subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at Real Alex Jones, because InfoWars is the front line of the fight. And without your help and support, we will fail. With your support and with your prayers, we will be victorious against the globalists together.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show on this Friday, July 14th, 2017. I'm David Knight with Owen Schroyer. We're going to have a report from Alex Jones talking about this Wall Street Journal story. The post office gives Amazon special delivery subsidies of $1.46 per package. You know, we have free shipping. You don't have to buy InfoWars Prime at $10 a month like you do with Amazon. We give you free shipping for the month of July. We also give you free video. You can watch us for free. You can go on the internet and take a look at it. We absorb those bandwidth issues if you're listening through our app. You can also go to YouTube and catch our videos. But if you want to
even auto ship is free. Even our auto ship is free.
Our auto ship. That's right. If you sign up for auto ship and you get free shipping if your order is $50 a month or more, and that's a way to make sure that you never run out of product. But we have a special that is going on right now, our July Summer Mega Special that's going to go through the end of July at InfoWarsStore.com. Free shipping, store-wide, on everything for everybody, whatever quantity you get. And we have, in addition to that, discounts, 30% off of these products, some of our most popular products. Brain Force Plus, Super Male Vitality. We have Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine, Gut Health Support Pack. All of those are 30% off, and we have 30 to 40% off InfoWars Select Storable Food. A great time to stock up on that. Free shipping, plus 30 to 40% off of InfoWars Select Storable Food. That lasts for 25 years, and once you open it, you can still reseal it with a zip. It's all made in the U.S., no GMO products and any of that. Also, 25% off Secret 12. That's our vitamin B12 formulation that you can take sublingually. You can put that under your tongue instead of having to take an injection. And DNA Force, one of our premier products, 20% off. All of that in addition to free shipping, part of our July Summer Mega Specials, now live at InfoWarsStore.com. Let's go to Alex's report where he's talking about Amazon, as we see that Jeff Bezos is on target to become the richest man in the world, but then he gets subsidies from the U.S. government for shipping his mail-order products as he puts out bricks and mortar stores are going out of business left and right. Here's that report from Alex Jones.
It's less and less common to read mainstream media and see a story that actually tells the truth and actually stands up for the general public in a free and open society. But I read one of those articles today by a Josh Sandbute from the Wall Street Journal. Why the post office gives Amazon special delivery. A Citigroup analysis finds each box gets a $1.46 subsidy. It's like a giant gift card from Uncle Sam. And behind every mega-rich person, whether it's Warren Buffett or Carlos Slim or the Rockefeller and Rothschild dynasties, it's government, corporate partnerships that create the mega super wealthy. And that's why John D. I famously wrote and stated many times that the cardinal sin was competition. Crony capitalists want consolidation. They want governmental and multinational control, which they write and which they are largely exempt from, just like the UN diplomatic community and tax immunity and all the rest of it set up by the Rockefellers. And in this article, he breaks down, well, you know, I drive by all the retail collapsing and think, oh, that's just free market. You know, there'll be winners and losers. But then he realizes, as a business researcher and writer, that the truth is, when the trucks pull up to his house and neighbors' houses, they each have a $1.46 subsidy on the average package from the U.S. Postal Service, delivering it to your door cheaper than it costs the Postal Service. But here's the deal. Only big mega corporations basically get the subsidiary, and the more they ship, the more they get. And so that's why we have to offer free shipping to even attract people to InfoWarsStore.com, even though we have a lot of proprietary great products, because Amazon has created this climate. And it's not free market. It's done by subsidizing their system via the taxpayers. Just like Carlos Slim made $10 billion roughly in profit off of the Obama phone program that cost, what was it, $3 billion or more a year. okay? And he's one of the richest men in the world. It's in between Bezos of Amazon and then the Washington Post and Whole Foods. It's in between that, Robert Barron, and it's in between Carlos Slim. Now that's who publicly is the richest. There's a lot of old money that's even bigger than that. But they go over this whole subsidy that's behind it. And that's why I've told my wife, I've told everybody, if something is available somewhere else, even if it's another big company, try to go buy it from them or a mom and pop, or let's go to the farmer's market. We've got to keep competition alive because these monopolies are coming in and are devastating things. And it's time to break these monopolies up. Until a few years ago, we sold our items on Amazon, and we sold quite a bit. A lot of folks buy our items and resell them. There's also some Chinese fakes on Amazon. That's how popular InfoWarsLife.com is. But I said, let's just pull our Amazon shopping carts because I don't want to contribute to this. But it's getting to a point where if you can't beat them, join them. Well, I'm going to hold out. And I'm going to believe folks are going to keep visiting InfoWarsStore.com and supporting us there and buying products there. And this isn't about just a plug today. This is about realizing that I talk to my neighbors and others, and I say, listen, we don't go to Starbucks anymore because they're trying to bring in radical jihadis and pushing to implode our borders and globalism. I've told, my assistant, please don't buy Starbucks coffee here at my house anymore. I said, just get a grinder. We'll grind the good coffee we sell. It's better. It's organic. And then I'll put it in the little Keurig machine. But again, the globalists promote things like the Keurig machine, the little systems where you put the little capsule in there, because it's all about removing you from the raw material, removing you from processing yourself. It's like having these automatic can openers where a machine does it. We're being dehumanized. I'm not saying it's bad to automate some things. It's like wearing shoes or having a car. It's just that it's being designed as a Trojan horse to weaken us, to domesticate us, and the social engineers admit that. So the article's very, very important. It goes over how all of this happens, and then they claim it's an accident. No, this isn't an accident. This arrangement is an unprecedented accident of history. The post office has long had a legal monopoly to deliver first-class mail on non-urgent letters. The exclusivity comes with a universal service obligation to provide for all Americans a uniform price and quality. The communication service helps knit the vast country together, and the Postal Service exists. It's how they exist. And then it just goes on to explain how this works. The point is, it's one monopoly or oligopoly allowing another oligopoly to basically turn into a monopoly. And it's these big, massive taxpayer-backed structures that allow this. And if you expand on that, look at healthcare. Undoubtedly, by the 1960s, the United States had the best healthcare in the world. Japanese royalty came here, British royalty came here, the Saudi rich people came here. Everybody came here. National Health Service of England was a nightmare. Canada system's a nightmare. On and on and on. And then as we put more and more government money in, just like education, it drove up the price. And it destroyed basic competition. And now it's a huge bureaucratic nightmare with the big insurance companies and banks riding Obamacare bipartisanly to bankrupt smaller companies and bankrupt smaller healthcare companies and consolidate the market. And that's what Elizabeth Warren admits. It's what Ezekiel Emanuel admits. And that's what's frustrating is they admit it, but act like blowing up competition and vertically integrating things is somehow socialist and loving and liberal when it's a bunch of mega corporations that run it. It's globalists that exploit China's slave labor that, of course, Walmart did first for decades and now is in decline because other people are imitating it. And it's the same thing. Now we have Amazon eating Walmart. So first Walmart ate Main Street. Now we see Amazon eating everything. So back to David Knight in the live transmission. The whole article, gets into the basics of it. And you can claim it's, quote, an accident, but these big corporations use all these loopholes to their advantage and then try to shut the loopholes off to everybody else and pull up the ladders of success. That's what globalism is. Its great crime is it's pushing austerity on everybody. And Trump's great plus is he recognizes that and is trying to fight it. He's certainly imperfect, but again, imagine if we had Hillary Clinton in there right now, and imagine if they get back in power, what they're going to do. They're going to clamp down on everything. Back to David Knight. back to Leanne McAdoo, back to Owen Schroyer and others in the live studio, Infowars.com. Spread that link. It is an act of resistance. Seriously, folks are trying to shut us down. And if they can shut us down or weaken us or keep us from breaking through even more, you're next. We're all next. We're in this together. Alex Jones with Infowars.com. Again, if you're watching or listening to this transmission, you are the reason we're here, and I salute you and thank you for all you've done. Please remember, we have free shipping through the month of July. Our average package costs us over $7 to ship for the average weight and average package for priority. And so when we're selling something for $20 and we're making $10 on it, and then we do free shipping, we're making like $3. But I'm just absolutely giving the enemy a run for their money. And we always have free shipping, $50 or more. We have 10% off when you sign up for auto ships. You can get, stuff that you need to reorder, like vitamins and minerals and supplements and coffee. But just please commit to supporting free market that also supports your freedoms and tirelessly fights. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. You can also call and talk to a human, 888-253-3139. We have DNA Force back in stock, 20% off. We have Myco ZX, the amazing paradigm that completes the circle when it comes to probiotics, knocks out the yeast and all the rest of the garbage. It's all available at InfoWarsStore.com. Be sure and get your CNN is fake news t-shirts on the back. InfoWars.com is real news. Great way to meet people and spread the word and break the back of those censors. Again, back to David Knight and the rest of the amazing crew. And I'll be back live this Sunday, Lord willing, 4 to 6 p.m. Central. Again, thank you all for the support.
All right, I'm David Knight here with Owen Schroyer. As Alex was just saying about Amazon, we look at these 21st century robber barons, and one of the best examples of this, of course, is Jeff Bezos. When he's talking about what's going on with the post office, I remember, Owen, decades ago, 20-plus years ago, some of the people that were involved in the Libertarian Party were working for UPS, and they were very upset about what was going on with the post office because the post office was using its monopoly on letters to subsidize competing with UPS and with Federal Express on packages and on overnight delivery of, the package. What made Federal Express popular was their overnight delivery of letters. UPS was focusing on parcels. And so the Postal Service was using its letter-carrying stuff to subsidize those parcel deliveries. But then they got in trouble, as this article points out. In the early 2000s, email started making snail mail go away. And so their protected monopoly started collapsing. And it got even harder for them because in 2006, Congress passed an act that made it unlawful for them to ship parcels at below cost. But as the article points out, that's very subjective. Who knows, because this stuff all flows together. How do you assess the cost of delivering a letter and delivering a parcel at the same time? The guy's going out there at the same time. How do you split the cost of one versus the other? So that gave them wiggle room. And that's what allows Amazon to come in and get a $1.46 subsidy off of this because they're big enough to take advantage of this in a way that other people can't. So you got a government monopoly setting up a situation where one of these oligarchists can come in and they can take advantage of that in a way that the rest of us can't. That's the problem that we see being replicated over and over again in our economy. We're going to see it with transportation very soon. They're going to make it impossible for you to own a car because the city planners, the urban planners, the people who want to enforce Agenda 21, or as they now call it, the 2030 UN Agenda for Sustainability, they don't want you to have the ability to move around independent of them. They want to own your transportation. Understand, this is full-on warfare. And if you're in warfare against the people, against their freedom, you have to control the movement, the transportation. It's the first thing, if you got an invading army, the first thing they're going to do is come in and shut off the means of transportation. That's what they're going to be doing to us shortly. They always want to own everything. And when we look at what's happening with Jeff Bezos and the articles that have come out in the Drudge Report, many others today over this last week, people have said, Amazon is getting so big, I'm putting them on my sale list because I have seen that there are things working in Washington to essentially shut down what is rapidly becoming a monopoly. Nevertheless, Jeff Bezos is about to become the richest man in the world. He made $20 billion increase in his net worth. And Owen, as we were talking during the break, I said, that's equivalent, if you look at him buying the Washington Post, because that's what he's thinking strategically. He understands there's going to be antitrust movements against him in Washington. He also understands that he wants to be able to deliver packages himself with his own drones. He's going to have government approval for that to give him an advantage over everybody else. He'll be allowed to use drones to deliver stuff, but you won't with your small business because you're not going to be able to pass the regulatory hurdles. He's going to make sure that that happens. He's also going to make sure that he has access to what he wants to do in space. An important part of that is to get politically involved with the Washington Post. And we've seen the Washington Post get very politicized after Jeff Bezos bought it. What did it cost him? Well, if we look at the kind of money that he's making and the amount of money that he paid for the Washington Post, $250 million sounds like a lot of money, except when we look at somebody who made $20 billion in just 5 months. Let's normalize that to somebody that is making $50,000, which is what the average American makes. That would mean that you could buy the Amazon Post for $300. I mean, would you buy a paper that you could use to influence Washington for $300? Of course you would, and that's exactly what he's doing. That's the way this guy is playing the game. It's very, very dangerous.
Well, not only that, you would also do it if you knew that some of the money of that 300 was coming from the government. If you were saying, I'm getting 150 of that from the government, 50%, well, heck yeah. And that is what they're trying to do. Bezos, Slim, Buffett, publicly pleading poverty, ask Congress for help with their newspapers. So
the richest men in the world.
Failing. Yeah. And this is a typical thing. I mean, you know, you'll actually see this a lot in media companies that fail. They try to get government bailouts. And it usually is the richest people at the company that get these bailouts because they don't want to pay these bills. They don't want to make this bad business deal. But it's absurd that, again, as the story in the New York Sun points out, Bezos worth over $80 million, Slim worth over $60 billion, Buffett worth over $70 billion. That's that we know of. And these people want money from the government to save their failing businesses? Excuse me, that's not how America works. And now it gets back to what you were talking about and how Amazon is now going to get this nice little kickback from the government, basically, with these parcels that they're going to be sending out.
Oh, they're getting it. They're getting it. They're able to take advantage of that.
Well, it makes sense. You say, okay, well, of course, that makes sense for the private business owner. He's going to make more money. His business is going to be more successful. That makes sense for the government. The government's going to have some say. The government's going to have some control. They're going to have a little leverage in this situation, considering they're involved now. But you know what it doesn't make sense for? It doesn't make sense for America. It doesn't make sense for the consumer. It doesn't make sense for the republic. And that's the problem. Nobody is thinking about that when they're making these deals. They're thinking about the bottom line. And this is where government has gone wrong. You know, that was what the government was supposed to be here to do, to watch the antitrust, to make sure that freedoms were being protected, and that we still lived in a republic ruled by the Constitution. And that's just, the government's completely missed that. And this is the kind of same story when you hear these newspaper owners that, just like you said, they buy these newspapers for pennies on the dollar just for political influence. That's it. Not even to make money. They don't need the money.
You know, going back into the middle of the 1800s.
But it's just like, I just want to finish it. It's just like when you have a billionaire sports team owner asking taxpayers to pay for their stadiums.
Oh, yeah. They always get the subsidies.
What?
Yeah, so that we can watch the millionaires play ball, play a
and the billionaires get richer.
Game. Yeah, so we give money to the billionaires to build their stadium, and then we watch the millionaires play a child game.
Wait. I want you to pay to build the stadium, and then pay to come and can use it too.
You know, libertarians have always fought this postal monopoly. We had Lysander Spooner. Look him up. This is a guy that brought the post office to its knees. They were charging outrageous fees, and he went into competition with them. Got it as a fraction, and that's one of the ways that they put in to protect themselves, these monopoly laws. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying.
Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com.